You've got that ideal career in mind. Well, West Georgia Technical College specializes in preparing you for great careers. Call today and find out how we can help you fit education into your busy lifestyle. You've got that ideal career in mind. Well, West Georgia Technical College specializes in preparing you for great careers. Call today and find out how we can help you fit education into your busy lifestyle.
I'm Perrin Alford, the Provost at West Georgia Technical College. This morning we're talking to Don Gaskins, our automotive instructor at the college. We'll be right back. I'm Perrin Alford, Provost at West Georgia Technical College, and this morning we're talking to Don Gaskins, and Don is our automotive instructor here at the college. So Don, every show I begin with a simple request here. Pretend like a student has just walked in your classroom and you're walking out in front of your class and you want your student to feel at ease and comfortable with you, so you're going to tell them just a little brief history of Don, where you're from, why you thought you liked automotive stuff, how you got into automotive stuff, and then a little bit of your background, automotive work, and then how in the world did you get an education? So give us a few minute kind of recap of Don and what our student might need to know about you.
Well, thank you, Alfred. I've got a background that goes back quite a few years. I started in high school tearing down cars and rebuilding stuff, and just always liked working with my hands. Got out of high school, went to work at a local textile mill, and after a few years of that, I realized that textiles wasn't where I wanted to be.
Okay, so now tell everybody where you're from, because I know the audience doesn't know where you're from. You're not a Troup County guy.
I'm not a Troup County guy. I'm originally from Orangeburg, South Carolina. That's where I was born and reared.
So you're an implant.
I'm an implant. I was transported across the border.
Right.
So,
okay. Well, good.
And I worked there, went to school in Orangeburg, and worked there, and got into education in the early 90s. I'd been working at various shops. I'd owned my own shop for a while, and managed a automotive machine shop, and seen an ad in our local newspaper one day that they were looking for an automotive instructor. Told my wife I thought that was something I could do. Went down there and interviewed. I had the credentials, the industry experience, and was hired, and I stayed in that position for 22 years and was automotive program coordinator there, and built that program from 7 students to 65 students. And my industry certifications, I'm ASE certified, which is a master technician.
And now that's a big deal.
That is a big deal.
Now go into a little, I can't let that go by without jumping in here.
Okay.
Tell everybody a little bit about what that really means. And I say that because when we talk to our instructors, I want to make really clear to our viewing audience out here how qualified our instructors are. A lot of our instructors at West Georgia Tech have master's degrees in the program field. So in automotive, I know you don't have a master's or a PhD or EDD in automotive, but the ASE, is that, am I saying that correctly?
ASE, I have, my educational credentials are, I have an associate degree in industrial technology, which is and with a major in automotive. I have a bachelor's degree in management, and I have an ASE, which is automotive service excellence.
So I didn't know you had a bachelor's degree.
Yep, the bachelor's degree in management.
Good for you.
And ASE is a national organization that certifies both automotive technicians and automotive training programs. That way the customer and the student can know that where they're going to take the car to get it repaired, or where they're going for their education, meets standards that match world-class requirements. And ASE has 8 areas, everything from brakes to engine repair to steering and suspension, to the most important one I think is the engine performance, which is your drivability, your computers, all of that stuff. And automotive programs are also accredited in each area. If you get all 8 areas, you're a master program, and that's my last program in Orangeburg was master certified, and we're going through the process of getting the program here at LaGrange also master certified. So we're moving forward. We're providing both world-class instruction with world-class instructors.
And so ASE is an individual thing. The college program, and I might say this incorrectly, if I do, don't laugh at me. Is it NATEF?
NATEF,
Okay.
N-A-T-E-F, National Automotive Technicians Education Foundation. And it's the educational arm of ASE, and they come in and they do an intensive study of your program. Actually, they're on site for 2 full 12-hour days looking at everything from tools to curriculum to interviewing students, interviewing employers, interviewing the instructors, and then they recommend to the ASE whether to accredit that program or not. And if you become NATEF ASE accredited, you've accomplished something.
So in essence, you would at that point have in educational jargon here, a PhD type, or a top of the line
PhD type program. Yes, sir.
And that is so important. And every instructor that I've had on here, I get into this just briefly because it's very important that a potential student out there understands the level of professionalism, the level of academic rigor that you've already been under, and all the hours you've spent preparing yourself with your head in the book. And then not only that, but did you say 20 years of real world experience?
22
underneath
years,
the hood,
right.
Working on stuff. So just very important. And I always like to just say this, you know, we love our 4-year degree counterparts and masters and all that kind of stuff. But the neat thing about technical education is that not only do the instructors have all the book knowledge, but in technical education, the instructor also has real world, hands-on experience.
Exactly. I like to say they're able to take it from up here and put it out here,
right,
into their hands.
Well,
and Perrin, the days of I call it the goober down at Wally's gas station,
right,
and Andy Griffin's show, you might remember, with the red rag hanging out the pocket, and
right,
Andy bringing the patrol car in and Goober opening it up. Gosh, Andy just looks like he takes a screwdriver, turns this, and closes the hood. Those are gone.
He starts hitting the carburetor or something
with the wrench. Right. Today's automobiles have infinitely more computers and computing capacity on it than for instance, the first moon mission,
right,
that went to the moon.
And that's a pretty amazing statement right there.
And
it's true.
It's the average processor on the car moves at a speed that rivals what's on your desk.
Right.
So when you're talking about today's vehicles, the computer corrects your fuel delivery on an average of 5 to 7 times per second.
Wow.
So we have at West Georgia, in LaGrange campus, we have not only the instructors with the ability, we have the diagnostic equipment and the tools in place to be able to allow the student to experience what is needed in today's world to get that education. He gets classroom, online training, but he also gets lab time, live work, hands-on stuff.
So the shade tree mechanic kind of thing. I remember when I was a little kid, my dad would take his automobile out to, somebody out in the country or something. So is that still in existence, or have all this computer technology and all this, I suppose you got to have certain types of equipment to even have the diagnostic check of all this stuff. So is there still a shade tree mechanic out there, is I guess my question?
There may be one or two oak trees still open somewhere, but most of the oak trees, and as we called them, the South Carolina pecan trees, have closed up, and because you have to have scan tools that interface with the onboard computer, so you can know what the computer's seeing to understand if there may or may not be a problem. So those are relatively expensive, but the college has made the investment in the students and in our service area, in that equipment and in that technology, so that our students can get that training they need. And the equipment and items, Perrin, that they train on are the exact same stuff that they'll be seeing in the industry when they graduate and go to work.
Right, very, very important. So not only do we have unbelievably qualified instructional staff, in our case, this case, Don.
Right.
Not only have you got just wonderful real-world experience that you can pass those kind of stories on to your students and kind of help them get a feel for what they're really going to get into in an automotive career, but we also have just phenomenal facilities and equipment and computers and so all the stuff's out there that, you know, it's kind of, to me, like baking a cake scenario. We have all the ingredients out there, and we can put them in the pan and get it just right and put it in the oven, come out with just this dynamite student that is prepared and ready for a high-paying job in the automotive industry.
That's right.
All we need is students.
That's it.
All we need is some students. Tell us a little bit about your program real quickly. We're coming up on a break, but about how many students do you currently have?
We currently have 25 students between our night and day program, and we're, as I said earlier, we're looking to expand that. And we have myself, a lab assistant, and a depending on our enrollment, one to two night adjunct instructors that teach our night program. So, and that's something I forgot to mention. We also have night classes, so that if a student does have a full-time day job where he's having to pay the bills, he can get his education at night. If he comes full-time during the day, he can get in and out with his diploma in 4 semesters.
Yeah.
That's the automotive courses, and he'll have to also take 4 general education courses.
All right, we'll pick right up there. That's a great little stopping point. So we're talking to Don Gaskins, our automotive instructor here at West Georgia Technical College. He knows this stuff. He's got the tools, the facilities, the computers, all at the college. All he needs is students, and they can range from high school student in some potential dual enroll programs. I'm not sure if we have any in automotive. I'm sure we're working on those. But anyway, 18-year-old all the way up to, how old can an automotive student be?
Student could be any age. I've had them up to their early 70s before, back in South Carolina. So you're never too old to learn.
Amen. So if you're one of those that's unemployed or underemployed or looking to start a new career and you're good with your hands, you like working on machines, think about automotive technology at West Georgia Technical College. And we'll be right back in a minute to continue our chat with Don Gaskins, our automotive instructor.
You've got that ideal career in mind. Well, West Georgia Technical College specializes in preparing you for great careers. Call today and find out how we can help you fit education into your busy lifestyle. You've got that ideal career in mind. Well, West Georgia Technical College specializes in preparing you for great careers. Call today and find out how we can help you fit education into your busy lifestyle.
I'm Perrin Alford, the provost at West Georgia Technical College here in LaGrange. We're talking to Don Gaskins, our automotive instructor at the college. He's fairly new to LaGrange and the West Georgia Technical College 5 campuses, but he is not new to the automotive industry at all. He's already told us a little bit about his background, 20 plus years in the automotive industry. did you say you owned your own shop, or you did your own stuff for a
Yes,
while?
I've been almost 22 years in teaching, and before that I was close to 15 years in the automotive industry. And
Okay.
yes, I've owned my own shop, I've managed shops, I've worked at dealerships, I've worked at independents. I've even worked at a agriculture heavy equipment dealership at one point. And as I tell my students, I've been there, done that, and got the T-shirt for that.
All
So-
right. Well, anytime I talk to an instructor of a program, like Don is with the automotive area, I always ask, I think, a very pertinent question. Students come to West Georgia Tech. One, they're looking for some place where they can get some great skills, where they can learn a trade, to where they can go out and get a job. I mean, I just don't believe in my heart that they show up at West Georgia Tech because they just want to be around Mr. Alford, or they've heard you just a great conversationalist. They come to West Georgia Tech because they want to get a skill, they want to get the tools necessary to go out and get a great job. So, one, I see all the time, or I read or watch the news, horrible economy. There's no jobs. Doesn't matter what you do, what your background, how much skills, there's just no jobs out there for anybody. Are there jobs right now today available for people with skills in your area?
As a matter of fact, there is, Perrin. If I could snap my fingers right now, the government, federal government says we have a shortage nationwide of over 150,000 trained automotive technicians. That would just fill the need and not meet any additional need. The average age for automobile technicians is in their mid to late 50s. So that means nationwide. So that means that here in just a few years, these guys are going to be retiring, going to their Social Security, if there's any left. But and these guys have to be replaced. And the days of going to work, showing up with some tools and a cardboard box at a workplace, at a repair shop, are over with.
Right.
You have to make the investment in the tools. You have to make the investment in the training, in the education, and be willing to be a lifelong learner once
Right.
you are employed. So the job market is outstanding. In fact, several local Ford store patent dealerships, they've developed a program where with us that a student can come to work for them if they have the space, and work for them for 2 years, and they will give them a set of tools.
Wow.
So that's how committed the local dealerships are in wanting to have qualified, trained West Georgia Tech graduates.
All right, so we've identified one, great instructor, great facility. We've identified that there is a market niche out there, that there are jobs available. Now here comes the good stuff. For the folks watching this morning, and I know these are just general terms here. We can't guarantee anybody a $40,000 a year job. I mean, I know it's all over the spectrum, but talk a little bit about entry-level monies after you've been there for 5 or 6, 7, 10 years. Talk a little bit about money.
Nationally, the average for an average automobile technician is in the low to mid 30s thousands, 30,000 starting a year. So, and it goes from there. It's kind of one of those things where it depends on each individual's skill as to how much he makes, because the automotive industry is an industry that generally pays their employees by how much work is turned out each week. So most students, when they enter the workforce, as they go along, they get faster with what they do, just like anything else. They can turn out more work, and that increases their paycheck at the end of the week. But I would say for a entry level 25 to 30,000 a year would probably be not a problem.
Okay.
And you could, and within a couple of years, you could probably bump that up to your mid-30s.
And now I'm assuming, obviously I've never been in automotive, but I'm assuming that they would come to West Georgia Tech, get the skills they need, get an entry-level job, and then in automotive, as in most industries, are there like stepping up points? Do you go from like an entry-level tech?
Yes,
to
you go from like an entry-level tech to a through training, and sometimes it's referred to as a C-level tech, and then you go to a B-level and then an A-level tech. And generally an A-level technician is one that has 7 to 10 years experience and can pretty much take care of anything that comes through the shop.
And is there managerial parts of this thing?
Oh.
Or are there shop managers?
Oh goodness, yes. Dealerships, you have a college degree. That's one thing the students need to remember is they have a college degree.
Right.
And not only do they have a college degree, they also have a technical skill that's in demand. So if they're in a shop situation, for instance, a dealership, if most dealerships pull their service managers, service writers from their workforce that's off the, what they call off the floor. That way the service manager knows what his technicians in the shop are going through and understands that end of the business also.
And so I'm assuming each level you step up, there's a pay increase.
Yes, there's a pay increase.
So it's not a dead-end thing.
No.
You just don't start as the guy doing the engine. And now, if you want to do that for your whole career, that's fantastic.
That's fine.
But it's like any other business. There's stepping up
stepping
points
stones. You
Right.
can get most dealerships pay their service managers a salary plus a bonus on how much work the shop turns. I've had, over the years, I've had a lot of students actually go into sales off the shop floor and make a wonderful living.
Selling automotive parts, I'm assuming.
Selling automotive parts or selling cars out the front end of the store.
Okay.
It's, I've had a lot go into their own, after a few years, open their own shops and are doing phenomenal. One of the best things that I've enjoyed over the years is when a student comes back to me after being out of business several years, and I've had this happen dozens of times, and says, "Mr. Gaskin, I just want to shake your hand. If it hadn't have been for you and your automotive program, I would not have the life I have today. I would still be down on the street corners hanging out with the fellas, or might be in jail, or might be dead."
Right.
And that makes me feel good that that I've had that type of impact, and my program has had that type of impact on students.
So if a student just walks in your office, let's say they're a kind of cocky high school senior, just got out, they're not really sure what they want to do with their lives or their career, and they said, you know, Mr. Gaskins, I know you like it and you're into the automotive thing, but give me a couple of reasons why I should get in the automotive field. What would you tell them?
Well, first I would ask them if they like working with their hands. And if they say yes, then I say, well, automotive field is one where you not only do you work with your hands, you also have to work with your brain in today's vehicles. You know, 30, 40 years ago, if somebody, juvenile, got in trouble with the local courts, they might send him over to the career center to say, enroll in automotive. Anybody can do that.
Right.
Those days are over with.
Right.
And but I would tell that student that if you like thinking, if you like working with your hands, and here's the most important part, if you like that satisfaction when you can look at something and go, I fixed that. It's been 10 other places in LaGrange, but I was the one that fixed it.
Okay. Would you agree these were probably good things as well? I would think, if I were talking to anybody about technical education, you're getting a skill that is needed in Georgia, Alabama, Florida, Mississippi, Louisiana, anywhere you want to go with a top-notch automotive skill. Can you get a job anywhere? You
can get a job. I tell my students when I go on recruiting trips, I tell the students that Yeah, if they like working in Georgia, hey, that's great. If they like working in LaGrange, but if I ask them, I said, do they have cars in Hawaii?
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. I
Yeah.
tell them, I said, I've been to the Chevy store in Hawaii, in Honolulu. It has no bay doors because the weather's so good. They
Right.
don't have to worry about closing it up. If you like England, they got cars in England, Australia.
So the world is your job market,
The world
really.
is, there's over almost 800 models of cars in the world today.
Yeah.
So there's people needed everywhere in the world to fix automobiles.
So there's plenty of jobs out there.
Plenty of jobs.
You make darn good money when
Yep.
you know your skills, know what you're doing.
Mhm.
It's a transferable as far as location,
Mhm.
anywhere you want to go. I love technical education. Nurses can get a job anywhere.
Right.
Truck drivers can get trained. They can
Right.
get a job anywhere. Automotive techs can get trained. They've got a job anywhere. So it's really a neat thing about technical education that we're really providing just a great opportunity for folks to come out to the college, learn a skill, learn a trade, and go get them a good job.
Once you have that skill, Perrin, nobody can take it from you.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's a great way to stop. This morning we've been talking to Don Gaskins. He's our automotive instructor here at the college in LaGrange. If you want to get in touch with us, several ways you can do it. You can always pick up the telephone. Our number is 706-845-4323. Or you can go on the World Wide Web. You can get us there at www.westgatech.edu. So that's 706-845-4323 or www.westgatech.edu. So,
it.
Don, appreciate you spending a few minutes
Okay.
and telling us about your program. And I suspect you're going to get a lot of calls and some inquiries about your automotive
I
program.
hope so. I don't mind talking about our automotive program or talking about the automotive business, period,
Well,
to anyone.
That's good. West Georgia Tech, great place for you. If you're underemployed, unemployed, just don't like what you're doing, want to start your own business, you need to contact us at West Georgia Technical College. This is Perrin Alford, and we'll see you next time on Technically Speaking.